Thank you so much, Harry. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the conference today. It's kind of many of you probably have little ones in your family that may be starting school today or have been starting school, and I guess it's officially the end or unofficially the end of the summer. But today we want to talk about the ICD-10 changes that are going to happen here in less than a month. Remembering that the diagnosis coding changes for the next year begin on October 1st of the year before. So October 1st, 2017, these 2018 diagnosis coding changes will be effective. Keeping in mind, too, that there is no grace period. For those of you that may have been around as long as I have, we used to get a 90-day grace period on the new coding changes, but that doesn't exist anymore. So as of October 1st, you'll need to be using these new codes. Now, I don't know about the practice management systems that you may be working on, but one of our particular practice management systems will not allow a claim to go past the edits prior to being sent to the clearinghouse if it has an invalid diagnosis for that data service. So we normally catch our ICD-10 errors with codes that are invalid before the claim even goes out. I'm not sure how any of your systems work, but I find that very helpful because then we can avoid those denials down the road. Last year I had a heck of a time with some of the coding changes in my coding. I think my coworker wanted to wring my neck. But at any rate, we're going to go ahead now and get going on the changes themselves. We want to take a look at them. Now, we're obviously not going to review all of these today. However, we will look at a number of them. The new codes for this year, there are 360 of them. Revised codes, there are 226. The majority of those are in the injury chapter. And keeping in mind that when you have those injury codes with 7-character extensions changing, they're going to count one for each one of the codes with that 7th character difference. So what I'm trying to say is if you have a code that has a 7th character of A, D, or S, if that code's being revised at all, that's actually going to be 3 revised codes and not 1. So that number looks a little bit inflated for that reason. And then they did delete 142 codes. Now, what I do suggest, if you have not already received your ICD-10 books for 2018, you're probably, if you've ordered them, they'll probably be coming any day now. You want to look at 2 things. You want to look at the actual code changes themselves. A lot of the books will have some kind of addendum or section where they're showing all the code changes for the year, whether it's new, revised, or deleted. The other thing you want to take a look at are the coding documentation guidelines that you can find at the beginning of the manual, and then it goes on a chapter-by-chapter basis with specific guidelines for each chapter. Now, I did, for today's presentation, go through the official documentation guidelines for 2018 on the one of the government websites. I'm not sure if it was CMS or one of the other ones, but I did go through the changes that you find at the beginning of the book. When they publish them, when the government publishes those documentation guidelines for the next year, they do put things in italics and bold statements that are changing. And so I did go through those documentation guidelines and pull out some of the guideline rules that are changing along with the code changes. So we will take a look at those also. Now a new concept for ICD-10 that we didn't have in ICD-9 is this converted to a parent code. If you're using a software, a coding software to look up codes and RVUs and things like that,